When you watch someone with such special talent like Kevin Durant, you can't help but marvel at the fact that he can score the ball in so many different ways, making it look effortless. But when you see him putting a team on his back this late in his career, not only do you start to wonder how exactly Durant is doing this in his 16th season in the NBA, but also why is this his circumstance? Sure, there's people that like to talk about him moving from team to team and that he can't win on his own, but hey, you want to know something that no one can deny or throw shots at? Well, that's his more than amazing skill set. Things aren't looking the best for the Suns as of late, and it's starting to look like a season where KD's talent is going to waste rather than being used to help this team be great. Currently, the Suns have a record of 14-14, sitting at the 10th spot in the Western Conference, which is a major concern. There's a ton of things that play a role into why this Phoenix Suns team is struggling. Listen up, we cannot afford to waste KD right now. I mean, like, come on, man. He's not at the front half of his career, he's at the back half of it. So we need to get him in a situation where he can hoop. Everybody thought that when he went to Phoenix with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and himself, they will form to make a big three and really put the league on notice. But the only notice that they put the league on is that they not doing Okay, let me chill. I don't want to get y'all too mad. But let's be real, they really not doing much out there. We thought they'd be the 2nd seed, 3rd seed, 4th seed, and at worst, the 5th seed. But obviously, as you can tell, they're none of those, and they're way worse than what we all expected. Now, I know injuries play a factor. Bradley Beal hasn't been on the court because he's not healthy. Devin Booker has missed some games because he isn't healthy. Hey, and even KD left with a sprained ankle. But guess what? KD came back quick. That boy came back and he's still hooping. We need to get some help over there because if not, this could really look bad for them. I want to see KD strive, and I know you guys do too. And as we've watched him this season, you can see that in every single way on the court, he's pouring in the buckets, doing everything he can. So let's go ahead and dive deep into what's making KD so special. When you see Kevin Durant walking down a defender to just rise up, drilling it right in their face with no worry in the world, it shows you the killer instinct and fearless nature KD has on the court that we must dissect. To obtain this mindset KD has when approaching the game, you must put in hours of repetition into your craft, but even more than that, it takes a strong poised mental frame, so even though you may think these pull-ups right over the defender are easy to knock down, they actually can be more difficult than what the naked eye can see. Knocking down shots from deep like that can literally suck the life out of opposing teams because just when you think you forced the ball away from KD, somehow it makes its way back around to him and he makes you pay up. Other times, you'll see teams make the double stick with him after screen actions to ensure he doesn't fire them up from deep, but with his absurd length, it makes it easy for teammates to throw it over the top of both defenders, and now it's an easy gimme right at the rim. If we reverse this action and KD is the one setting the screen, if the defense stays up high anticipating the pin down screen like we see here, well all it takes is a simple lunge off the defender towards the basket as Gordon tosses it up, and another 2 points is on the board before the defense can even react. By being able to notice the gaps in the defense and read what defenders will do, it allows Durant to stay 2 steps ahead at all times, and this is the main reason as to why KD's scoring looks effortless on all 3 levels. Perfect example here versus Toronto. Scottie Barnes knows that Durant loves to run off these handoff screens to curl off and shoot the midi, but hey, KD has a high enough IQ to understand that Barnes wants to take away that option, so wham! The stunt towards the ball makes Scottie shift that way, granting him front row seats to the Kevin Durant slam show. Basically, you might as well just play KD straight up and honest, because shading him one way or the other will open up easier opportunities for him to exploit you, making you all out look silly. Having the skill set of moving off ball takes a load of pressure off KD, as not only he doesn't have to work hard to get open with the handle, but he can instead move freely throughout the court, which makes this a tiring and irritating time for the defense. When we look at KD's splits when it comes to shots taken within 2 seconds of receiving the pass, Durant has an effective field goal percentage of 66% on 7 shots a game, which is absurd. The only players that have a better effective field goal percentage with 7 shots more taken within this time frame are the names of Stephen Curry, who sits at 72% on 7 shots as well, and the next 3 are all big men who take shots more closer to the rim, and 5th on that list is the one and only Kevin Durant. If we take out the big man, we would see Kevin Durant be the 2nd most effective shooter within 2 seconds, which is ridiculous because guys like him and Curry are taking shots from everywhere on the floor rather than bigs who tend to take shots a lot closer inside. Me personally, I think people tend to overlook how important it is to be able to move into the pockets of the defense that are left open because this is when you can capitalize at a quick rate before defenses can even get set up in front of you. Like earlier, we discussed that teams will scheme to get the ball out of Durant's hands, and yeah, he could just float back out to the 3-point line like most guys would do here, or he could come back up to get the handoff from Nurkic. But knowing the paint is wide open, KD has a small window of time to get there, so just by being savvy and making a quick movement, Durant shreds Anunoby with his backdoor slice, and the lob is on the money, making his play look nice. You kind of see what I mean? With a live dribble in Durant's hands, this route to the basket would have been a lot more difficult. But since he can move through the defense like an agility drill, it makes things a lot more seamless. It honestly doesn't take a whole lot, as it's just small simple movements that allow you to get a wide open shot if the defense falls asleep, or if the defense fails to communicate on the switch, then you're granted a warm up 8-footer right off the glass. With KD, you can't afford to snuggle up in the covers no matter what, as that's when he'll wake you up out of your sleep, making you feel like it was a nightmare. There are those times where it seems as if the defense is in pretty good position to stop Durant when he catches the ball in motion, but wham! That's when he can shift directions in a blink of an eye, and with only one defender to beat, this is easy work for Durant to go in and complete the bucket. Perfecting these details can take many hours, and even though these are moves that Durant practices on a daily, in the real game he must adjust to what the defense gives him, so making these quick reads while going to knock down these tough shots really shows you how dialed in KD is on a nightly basis. If teams let him get into his groove out there on the floor with his elusiveness, then it's going to be a long night for the defense, as his bag is full of smooth, buttery moves, and now he can have his way no matter who stands in front of him. With many ways to get to his spots on the floor, Durant can pick and choose what shot he wants to get into, and one specific action that gets him easy buckets would have to be these fades out the post. When matched with a smaller defender, it's nothing for Durant to deliver the slight bump to create the initial space, and by fading back, it creates even more of a gap from the defender for the knockdown J. To combat this, some defenders will gamble and go for a steal when the ball is at its low point, but that's probably not the best thing to do, because if you aren't rewarded with the steal, then it's a wide open bucket for KD. Furthermore, you'll see guys try and be physical with Durant to make him uncomfortable, and I know there's this notion that he isn't strong and whatnot, but more times than not, Durant welcomes that contact or will be the one to initiate it, and then can double clutch the shot to avoid the block, making this tough shot look like an easy day on the job. Just so you know this isn't a one-off thing, you can literally see Durant bully his defender all the way down to the block off this post-up, and with his laser focus, he nails the fadeaway with one more shot to go at the line. Yeah, guarding Durant can be one of the most difficult tasks a defender is asked to do. When you have someone who shoots 52% from the field and 47% from deep on 31 points a night, there's really not much you can do to stop him, as containing him is probably the most realistic thing you'll be able to do. Because from literally everywhere on the court, KD is effective, so for any small mistake the defense makes, they'll be rewatching film that night to figure out how to scheme better. Take this for example, when these screens are set up high for KD to run off, if the defender goes over and is trailing, well they virtually stand no chance at getting a good contest without fouling, so it's really up to the big man to step up to make this shot more difficult. But as you can see, Ayton sits on the couch to enjoy the show and then grabs the ball after it falls through the net. Partially, I can understand why Ayton didn't step up, because you'll see other times where bigs like Anthony Davis do get out to the 3-point line, but with his bag of tricks, Durant serves the hezzy which freezes AD just enough, and now it's an easy route to the cup for the two-handed slam. So I get it. You don't want to be blown by to the basket to save yourself the embarrassment. But honestly, that should be the least of your worries, because you could end up like Lauri Markkanen on this nasty snatchback as KD rises up for the mid-range drop. With his more than suave playstyle, Durant can make defenders look lost out there on the court with his ability to navigate through them like they're cones, which then opens up these uncontested lays at the rim. KD's just an amazing scorer, and if you don't think so, well, you must be living under a rock. And if you ask me, if we look around the league, KD's probably one of the best scorers in the league right now, and even if we stretch it out to the whole NBA history, KD is probably a top 10 to top 5 scorer in the whole entire NBA. Don't believe me? We can argue about it in the comments, because I honestly can't name 10 players that score better than KD. If he wants to catch it from deep, guess what? KD gonna wop, and he's gonna pull up from that 3-point line. If he wants to get in the mid-range, we can hit you with that hezzy into a pull, he can hit you with a fade out the post, or he can just tie together a combo to knock it down over you. And then last but not least, if KD wants to get inside, then at will, he will do it. Nobody's gonna stop him. His scoring is truly elite. And if the Phoenix Suns don't do something at the trade deadline or help their players be more healthy, then I don't really know what we're gonna see from KD and this Suns team going forward. I wanna see them succeed. I wanna see KD back deep in the playoffs. I wanna see him hooping at a high level. Is good for basketball, and you can't lie. You can't lie. Don't sit here and lie and say, oh, I don't care about seeing KD. I'd rather just see Luka. I'd rather just see Jason Tatum. I'd rather see Nikola Jokic. Nah. They be hooping. Don't get me wrong. Nikola be hooping. Tatum be hooping. Bron be hooping. Everybody be hooping. But you can't lie when we see the most pure scorer step on that floor and every bucket is hitting the back rim, it kind of makes you just sit back and say, so will the Suns turn things around, or will they make this season a living hell for Kevin Durant? Hopefully this big three can all get on the same page and stay healthy, or else this movement to the valley was all for nothing, and a year where Kevin Durant is playing at an elite level will all go to waste. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like before heading out. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.